Hi, I'm Miranda.
And I'm April.
And this is a True Crime Co.
A podcast about everything macabre and mysterious.
That doesn't bode well for today's episode.
No, it does not.
Today we're going to be talking about the escape from Azkaban.
Azkaban. You better freaking leave that.
Today we're going to talk about the escape from Alcatraz. And thank God, because April's going to be leading this episode.
Just to tell you, it's going to be vastly different than the Harry Potter escape from Azkaban.
I can't believe I just did that.
I can't either. I mean, how did... They are vastly different. One is a fictitious place, and the other one's real. Quite real. Anyways, yeah, we're talking about the escape from Alcatraz, which is a real place. It is located in the San Francisco Bay in California.
No, it did.
You can see the Golden Gate from it. Golden Gate Bridge, that is. Not that I've been there, but just Google it.
We should go.
Oh no, totally on my bucket list.
When
Totally.
we do our haunted tour, we should go.
Well, obviously, because it's supposed to be haunted. I mean, considering its history, there should be like tons of ghosts there.
Well, little D keeps asking to go to Disneyland. So when we go to Disneyland, we'll go to Alcatraz too. He said, if I get all the stars on my chore chart, does that mean we're going to Disneyland? No, it means that you earned your allowance.
You know, the one in Florida is a lot closer than the one in California. Be a lot less money.
That's what I said. But
He doesn't even know the difference between Disney World and Disneyland.
he knows that there is a difference.
You know what? He'll be excited just to go to Disney World.
Yeah, we're going to go to California because we're going to go to Freddy Fazbear's Pizzeria. We're going to go to Disneyland. We're going to go to the San Francisco Zoo. And now we're going to go to Alcatraz.
Oh, I guess have fun.
We're going to take a lot of vacation.
Yeah, have fun. Enjoy your haunted tour alone.
You can't fly out for the Alcatraz part?
Why would I just fly out for Alcatraz? I don't want to go to Disneyland. I'm just going to put that out there. I went to Orlando and I went to Epcot. That was good enough for me.
So fly out for the San Francisco Zoo and Alcatraz.
You trying to kill me?
No,
I'm old.
you're fine.
I feel like we're very off topic right now.
Yeah. San Francisco Zoo is pretty close to Alcatraz, so we're pretty close to the topic.
They're like neighbors. Perfectly fine.
I wonder if you can see Alcatraz from the San Francisco Zoo.
I know you can see it from the bridge.
And we can go see that too.
I mean, we can just drive across it. It's a pretty big bridge.
Yeah, no, I have a fear of bridges.
You know, you should make a list of what you're not afraid of. It'll be a shorter list.
I'm not
Anyways.
in. Just kidding.
Okay, anyways, for reals this time. Sort of. So like I was saying, the history of Alcatraz is pretty lengthy. So they used it in the, I wouldn't say Civil War. Was the war before that?
What?
Oh no.
I zoned out.
You guys, you might as well just skip this episode because it's trash already. Just trashy. I mean,
I'm sorry, I brought a lot of comedy to this episode already.
Oh, I mean, just the opening. Hilarious.
It's only been 5 minutes and I've brightened days.
Made people laugh? Check. Brighten day? Check. Now let's make it dark. Let's get into the deeper darkness of Azkaban.
So stupid. Where are the Death Eaters? I don't see them.
Oh, you know, maybe that's what's in there as ghosties is kind of like Death Eaters. They just suck your soul right out of your face.
It's okay. I have a lot of happy memories.
You do?
I do.
That's not the impression I get.
I have a ton of happy memories with my children.
Oh, she went for the heart. Right in there. Just right in that breastbone.
Back on topic. Back on topic.
Hold on, I gotta look this back up because I did not write anything down. Okay, so it was the Civil War. So Alcatraz is actually a very strong island in this bay. It's very logistically good for military function because, you know, you come into the bay where the bridge was not there at the time because it was a Civil War. And I mean, they have to go around this island so they can just pick them off.
I didn't even know we had California when the Civil War was happening.
Well, they used it. They just got it from the indigenous people because it was a defendable stronghold.
So we did everything else, I guess.
Anyways, they chose this spot for fortification because of its location and how the ships would have to come into the bay and they could just pick them off one at a time. So it was used as a military stronghold until probably the 1800s, I think. Nope, wrong. 1934, it was turned into Alcatraz, the prison. So, of course, the thing about this island here is the water, because it's got strong tides or water flows. So if anybody tries to get out, they have to go into the water and swim, which is it's miles from each side, and it has tidal flow that takes them right out into the ocean, the open ocean, if they get into that particular tidal. And then there's an eddy really close to the bridge where the flow comes out and then it dips down. So there's like this whole cycle thing. So people get stuck in there and drown.
If I wasn't already afraid of the Pacific Ocean.
You should be afraid of the ocean. It's terrifying.
I am terrified of the ocean. Every time my kids want to go waist deep in the ocean, I just think about how we're all going to die.
I would say, I think not. There's sharks that come up there.
Together. I'm going to take those childhood memories away from them.
Hey, just keep your childhood memory alive when your leg got bit off by a tiger shark that came up too close. Good idea. It sounds very fair.
We have dolphins where I live, and dolphins are mean to sharks.
We have dolphins down here.
Not as many.
Well, we wouldn't know because we were not at the coast a lot. So
listen, this is what a lady told me to make me feel better about swimming where I was swimming.
You just hold on to that.
When we go out to the barrier islands, it's a no for me, dog. Okay, it's a no for me.
It's a no. Well, I would say it's a no because sharks actually come into this water as well. There has been sightings of great white sharks in these waters at the Alcatraz. And there's actually a video of a great white jumping up. I don't have the video.
Up.
Yeah, you know, they come out of water and go. Have you ever seen Jaws?
I thought that was just for cinematic effect.
No, they can actually do that. Swallow your whole.
My birthday. Thanks for that.
Just think if there's actually megalodons still.
Little D thinks there is.
Well, you know, in the what is that called? The Mariana Trench.
Yeah.
They said that there's a huge type of shark that lives there.
It's a megalodon.
It's not quite as big as a megalodon.
All I know is that you can buy those little shark trackers where you like adopt a shark, and people keep having their sharks get eaten whole. Okay, like they just swam right into death.
Sounds super. Let's go dog paddle in the ocean. We look like seals, so.
Did you know that NASA actually was supposed to originally explore the ocean and then decided, JK, let's go explore outer space?
Isn't that kind of funny, though? I mean, I know that once you go down far enough, you start dying because of the pressure and just kills you.
Genuinely terrifying, not funny.
But I would think, well, I mean, I'm just saying this. I feel like space has just as much pressure, possibly. I don't know.
Space can crush you like water can. I think you freeze to death in space.
Oh, and you die because there's no oxygen.
Yes, but even with oxygen, you die in space because you freeze to death.
Mm.
I don't see how there could be pressure in space.
Well, I've never been in space, so I don't really know.
Anyways, we're way off topic. This is
no. This is, you can tie this in because it's a conversation because there's deep water where this is. Also, keep this in mind that when you go to California and you visit Alcatraz, it is the safest place you could be if there's an earthquake.
Until the tsunami.
Well, if there's an earthquake there, then the tsunami would go a different direction.
What if there's an earthquake in Japan?
Then don't go to California.
What if there's a freaking volcanic eruption in the Pacific Ocean and there's a tsunami? Do you know there was a tsunami recently in California?
Says the person who lives at the beach.
Yeah, the Atlantic Ocean.
They can have tsunamis.
And I live plenty of miles away from the beach.
No, you don't.
Yes, I do.
No, you don't.
Yes, I do.
I live plenty of miles away from the beach.
My yard would flood because all the water around me would elevate, but the wave wouldn't hit me.
You have flood insurance, right?
That's a great question. I have no idea.
You're in a floodplain.
Yeah, that was Chris's responsibility.
You guys should have got it when you purchased the house.
We have homeowners insurance.
That does not cover flood. Now we're really off topic. Anyways, so okay, Alcatraz, when it was turned into a prison, now has a nickname. It's called The Rock.
Like Dwayne.
Well, this predates Dwayne Johnson. Like
a little. No, I'm just kidding. When are we? The 30s?
You think? Yeah, this is 1932. It's turned into a prison. And the worst of the worst people were sent there.
I would think the rocks is what would make it hard to escape.
Well, they have stairs and stuff getting down the rocks because they have to get to boats for supplies and how the prisoners are transferred and so on and so forth.
Yeah, but they only have that in one spot.
No, they have it in a couple spots.
That's dumb.
You'll see it when you go visit. So they're not worried about people trying to escape because they're like, oh, the ocean will get them. It'll be fine.
That's fair.
There's this little island that's like really close to it. It's called Angel Island, but it's this like little bitty rock that's there. So the water flow is so strong that people get exhausted by swimming and they end up on this and they're like, just come get me. I'm done. Just forget about it. But in particular, we're going to talk about the escape of the only possible, even though they don't say it's possible, the only possible successfully executed escape of 3 prisoners.
I was going to say that was 3 men, right?
Yeah. Well, actually, it was 4. It was supposed to be 4, right? But one of
3 survived.
No. So one, we're going to get into what they did, but one of them could not successfully escape his cell.
What a loser!
Wow, that's rough, dude. What a loser!
When did this escape happen?
It happened in 1962.
He's dead. What a loser!
Well, I mean, he actually is dead because he was stabbed fatally in Atlanta prison after Alcatraz closed in 1963.
Ooh, Atlanta.
Mm-hmm. So, okay, so the 3 men that actually escaped tentatively was the Aglin brothers.
Spoiler alert, one of them made a deathbed confession.
You're going to talk about that. I didn't find that.
That's all I know about that. I don't even know which one it was.
Okay. So the 4 prisoners that tentatively escaped, technically, was Frank Morris, and then John and Clarence England, and then Alan West. We're going to go over Alan West first because he's the one who did not actually make it off of the rock.
Okay.
So,
or his cell.
So Adam West. Oh my God, Alan West. Just to make the difference, Adam West was Batman, like OG Batman.
I know, because he's also an American Dad. Or is it Family Guy? Or is it The Simpsons? He plays himself in one of those when he talks about Batman.
Anyways, and then there's Alan West, who was born in New York City. He was arrested over 20 times in his lifetime. Sounds like a winner. He was imprisoned in 1955 for car theft and was sent to the Atlanta Penitentiary and then to Florida State Prison. After the escape attempt from the Florida facility, he was moved to Alcatraz in 1957.
So he was just really bad at breaking out of prison.
Oh, totally. Totally.
And you can't even break out of a, prison on the land. You thought you were going to break out of an island prison?
Well, the other ones actually attempted to escape too, like the England brothers. They were also in the Florida State Penitentiary.
They probably tried to escape together.
Maybe. But that's why. Okay, we'll get to them. I feel like I have a hair on my face. Oh, there it was. Anyways, okay, so. Okay, let's just go over the other ones and then I'll get to that. Okay, so that's the tidbit on Alan West. Okay, so he was eventually in there. And he knew the England brothers from the previous Florida State Prison. Let's go over Frank Morris real quick. So Frank Morris, born in Washington, D.C., orphaned at age 11. He spent the rest of his childhood in foster care. And he was convicted of his first criminal offense at 13.
That's really sad.
That is sad. And by his late teens, he had been arrested for crimes ranging from narcotics possession to armed robbery. Yeah, rough life, man.
He's the one with the deathbed confession.
Maybe. It could be one of the England brothers, though.
I just looked it up.
Oh, yeah. Thank you. Okay, so he spent his early years in jail serving lunch to prisoners. Later, he was arrested for grand larceny in Miami Beach, car theft, and armed robbery. Morris reportedly ranked at the top 2% of general population in intelligence. Super smart. I think he had an IQ of 133. I think I read that somewhere.
Which one is this?
Oh, Morris, Frank Morris.
Okay.
Okay, so he ranked top 2% in general population of intelligence as measured by IQ testing is 133. Seriously, the next sentence. He served time in Florida and Georgia, then escaped from the Louisiana State Penitentiary while serving 10 years for bank robbery. He was recaptured a year later, committing a burglary. Just doesn't learn. And sent to Alcatraz in 1960 as an inmate number AZ1441.
He successfully escaped in Louisiana.
Yes.
And got caught being stupid.
Yeah. So he, pretty smart dude.
What a waste of a second chance at freedom. Could have changed your name, started a new life.
Yeah, but nobody who does that, a lot of people can't deal with it.
And you say he got caught in Alabama?
It doesn't say where he got caught. They just said he got caught a year later.
I was like, could have got further away than Alabama. I guess I was thinking about one of the other two.
Maybe. Okay, quick background on John and Clarence. They were brothers.
Okay, yeah.
But I found this funny when I read it. And of course, this is all on Wikipedia as my source, so take it as you will. So John was born May 2nd of 1930. Clarence was born May 11th, 1931.
Huh.
Isn't that funny?
That is
Yeah. And they were part of a family of 14 children in Donaldsonville, Georgia.
well, you know, you and your sister were born in the same month.
Yeah, but 2 years apart.
Still the same month.
So,
I think it's always wild when siblings are born in the same month.
well, and our brother was born in the same month too.
Your dad had a pattern.
Apparently. Yeah. Yeah, that is funny. But we're 11 years apart, so he definitely had a pattern.
Yep.
Anyways, so they actually grew up with their family of 14, I guess, plus their parents, who was really 16 individuals in their family. And their family or their parents were seasonal farm workers, so they, went whenever it was time for the fields to be sowed, and then they went and picked and dug and stuff like that.
I thought you were going to be like, so, you know, they were poor.
They were poor.
And I was going to be like, well, some farmers weren't poor.
So since they're seasonal farmers, they moved the family in the early 40s down to Ruskin, Florida. And since, you can actually, it's more reliable because you can grow more for longer there.
Because Florida doesn't have cold seasons.
It can.
Like a week.
Depending on which part of Florida you go to. Okay. Like the one part closest to Georgia, I would say it could have some cold. But, further down like Miami, Tampa, it's definitely warmer down there.
All I know is that Chris has a relative who recently moved back here from Florida. And this has been a very mild winter the past 2 years. Very mild.
Same here.
And she's like, it's freezing. So I'm like, girl, this is nice.
Yeah, it's kind of funny. Is Nancy, she moved to Florida, and she was up here when it was 50 degrees. And she's like, it's so cold. I'm like, you're on blood thinners. You're fine.
Oh, man. I will say that when I first moved up here to the coast, it was like people are wearing parkas, and it's like 57, and I'm like, Jesus Christ, it's not even that cold. But now I find that when it gets below 65, I also need a jacket.
I think that's just you getting older.
No, I'm not old.
I said older. So they moved to Florida. These brothers were inseparable, and their siblings were amazed because they were actually very skilled swimmers. I feel like this is important. And they used to amaze their siblings by swimming in frigid waters of Lake Michigan because their family would follow, like they would go along with the seasonal farming to work.
Deathbed Confessions is a podcast, not a show.
Thanks for, I thought you were going to say something about them being strong swimmers, but.
No, because my father and my husband, who are both Navy veterans, told me that the ocean doesn't care how good a swimmer you are.
Well, I thought it was important because even though the ocean doesn't care, they would have a strong ability to swim in the frigid water to the shore because they have done it. And people do it as like a triathlon now. They swim from
Alcatraz.
Yeah, they swim to Alcatraz and then back to the shore, something like that. I would never do the triathlon because I would literally die.
A triathlon is fine, except for swimming to Alcatraz.
Oh, okay. I'd like to see you in a triathlon.
I can't. But I'm saying, catch me next year. Catch me next year.
Okay, everybody, the whole 5 people who are watching, hold her to it next year, even though we don't know if we're going to be doing this next year.
I might be running a marathon next year.
This is all I heard.
I can run and I can bike.
You can't run. You broke your ankle.
Traditionally, I can run. I just am not a good enough swimmer to do a triathlon.
Well, you live at the ocean. Go swim.
The ocean that I'm terrified of? No,
Well, you couldn't do it anyways because you're terrified of the ocean.
The first year we moved back up here, I went as far as I ever have been, and I was like, I'm gonna die. My feet can't touch the ground. I'm too far. I did not get eaten by a shark.
Good for you. So
Actually,
proud.
I'm more afraid of jellyfish than I am sharks.
True story.
Because I don't typically go out far enough for sharks to be a problem. That time, obviously, I was far enough, but
Well, sharks can come up in pretty shallow water, though.
not my calf.
Yeah, your calf.
I will see them.
You say.
A great white is not going to come bite my leg off.
There's other sharks like tigers and hammerheads. There's other sharks that bite.
I think I would see a hammerhead too.
Hell no.
I'm actually really afraid of sand sharks and nurse sharks because those do live as deep as I go. But they can't bite my whole leg off. They could bite like my muscle out or my toes off. Probably my foot.
It sounds terrifying. Okay, let's circle back. Okay. So
You're the one that keeps getting me talking about my fear of the ocean.
anyways, Clarence was first caught breaking into a service station when he was 14 years old.
For what?
And the brothers,
For why?
they were poor.
Oh, yeah.
And maybe they just felt like doing it. I don't know. I didn't say, hey, they didn't write a biography of why they did what they did.
No, because they presumably died.
The brothers began robbing banks and other establishments as a team in the early 1950s. So they'd be around 20. Yeah. Usually targeting businesses that were closed to ensure that no one got injured. Well, that was nice of them.
That was very thoughtful.
Yeah. They claimed that they used a weapon only once during a bank heist, and it was a toy gun.
You can still get life for that.
Well, apparently. And then in January 1958, the brothers, John Clarence and Alfred, another brother, robbed a bank in Columbia, Alabama. All received 35-year sentences, which they served at Florida State Prison, Leavenworth Federal Penitentiary, and then Atlanta Penitentiary.
What happened to Alfred?
I guess he just stayed in.
He was like, I don't need to escape.
Atlanta.
I get 3 meals here.
Yeah. After repeated attempts of escape from the Atlanta facility, John and Clarence were transferred to Alcatraz. So Alfred was the smart one. He was like, nah, bro, I'm fine. I just served my 35.
On good behavior.
Maybe. And then John arrived at Alcatraz in October of 1960 as an inmate, AZ 1476, and Clarence in January of 1961 as inmate, AZ 1485.
Wait, when did the first one get there, John?
October 1960.
Ooh, they got transferred at different times.
Mm-hmm. They're like, if we're not together, we're just going to keep it. And then they did anyways. All right.
You know, separating them probably would have been smarter.
They thought, they were like, it's the Rock. Nobody escapes alive from the Rock. Okay. Unless you throw in a guy with an IQ of 133.
Which one was that? Morris?
That was Morris, yeah.
That makes sense.
Yep. So, going back to the 4 inmates. So, Alan, John, Clarence,
I'm sorry.
Frank.
I have to say this because this whole case just reminds me of Scooby-Doo. The second live action movie.
Oh my god. Maybe it was based off of it. I don't know. Maybe that's where they got their inspiration.
Anyways,
okay. So all 4 of the inmates knew each other from the Florida and Georgia stints in prison when they are assigned adjacent cells. That was, okay, I think number 1 is they were assigned adjacent cells to each other.
and they had previously tried to escape from the same prisons.
Yes.
Where they served sentences at the same time.
Maybe not together. I mean, John and Clarence, yeah, but maybe not Frank and Alan.
I mean, they knew each other.
Mm-hmm.
They served together.
Mm-hmm.
They didn't escape together, obviously, because one of them successfully escaped. I just think you put 2 brothers who historically tried to escape prison together with 2 other men who also historically tried to escape prison.
Uh-huh.
One of which had successfully escaped to prison.
I think maybe their mentality was, oh, you know what? They tried to escape. Let's put them together. So if they try, they'll just die in the water. Maybe that was their mentality.
Wow, that's terrible, first off. But also, this is the problem. People in authority get too cocky, too comfortable.
Your head bobbling.
Bad mistakes, like putting expert escapees together.
Would they be expert when they were attempts?
Frank did. He got out.
Maybe they just had like a block in prison where all attempted escapees. Could be.
Yeah, because they say they send the worst of the worst there, but these guys don't seem that bad, except for the fact that they try to escape prison.
Oh, and that they were habitual criminals.
I mean, they never killed anybody. They never assaulted anyone.
But who knows what would have happened later if they kept on.
I'm just saying, this doesn't feel like the worst of the worst type vibe. I'm thinking like rapists and murderers and child killers.
Child killers don't make it. Child killers and rapists don't last long in prison.
That's not true. Sometimes they do last long. They just get raped a lot.
Or they get put in isolation.
Yes.
Okay.
When they make deals. Yeah. What?
Mm-mm.
They don't all get murdered.
You know what? I'm trying to not be inappropriate.
I mean, they make deals with law enforcement, not what you're thinking.
And what am I thinking? You don't know.
Oh my God. I feel strongly that I do.
Maybe. But not exactly. Because it was funny. But anyways. Okay. They were assigned adjacent cells and they began formulating an escape plan with the leadership of Morris. Because he's a smart one.
You mean because they could just look across the way and talk to each other?
Mm-hmm. Maybe not across the... Well, I guess they could do it across the way. Because it was adjacent.
Yeah. I think they're paper ball notes at each other.
It's like, hey, Clarence. Did you even think everybody would hear them making this plan?
It's The Rock. No one thinks they can execute it.
I said that earlier. That was my line earlier.
Yeah, I'm just reminding you. Continue.
Are you sure?
Yes.
All right. Anyways, over the subsequent 6 months, they widened the ventilation ducts beneath their sinks using discarded saw blades. That sounds like a very bad thing. To have discarded saw blades just available.
They probably stole it from the workshop.
Look, it's discarded saw blades found on prison grounds, metal spoons from the mess hall, an electric drill improvised from a motor of a vacuum cleaner. It's pretty clever.
Wow, I guess prisons really have tightened up with the contraband.
Yeah, they actually clean up the yard, make sure there's no discarded blades.
They're like, what do these losers do with these?
And apparently somebody was a very good artist because the men concealed their work with painted cardboard and masked the noise with Morris's accordion on top of the ambient din. of music out.
Have you seen the paper mache heads that they put in the beds?
Yeah, I mean, it's old, but
they're so creepy.
I mean, they did way better than I did. They actually have like a jawline.
Yes.
Maybe you should, while I'm reading this, you should find a picture of it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So once the holes were wide enough to pass through, the men accused, or not accused, but accessed the unguarded utility corridor directly behind their cells. Mistake number 2. For prison people. Okay, so they got into the utility hall corridor directly behind their cells and climbed into a vacant top level of the cell block where they set up the clandestine workshop, here using over 50 raincoats among other stolen and donated materials from, I guess, other inmates. They constructed life preservers. Pretty smart. Based on a design Morse found in the March 1962 issue of Popular Mechanics with the article, "Your Life Preserver, How Will It Behave If You Need It?" Then we're reading from Morris. I mean, it's too intelligent. So Morris found other ideas in the magazine, a resin to make a lampshade in the November 1960 issue of Popular Mechanics, and a signpost.
Okay, this is a picture of one of the mannequin heads that they made for the bed.
That's pretty.
I have another one. Let me see if you can see the head. You can't.
That's crazy. That's absolutely crazy. They even have a jawline.
I want to show you the one from the bed. So you keep talking, I'll figure out how to do that.
Okay. So talking about lampshade resin. Okay. The buoys, water safety. He found out the channel buoys indicating the course of navigation hazards in May 21st, 1962 issue Sports Illustrated. Nice. Very clever. Okay. They also assembled a 6 by 14 foot rubber raft, and the seams carefully stitched by hand and sealed with liquid plastic available in the shops. And the heat from the nearby steam pipes. Wow. The paddles were improvised by plywood and screws. Finally, they climbed into the ventilation shaft to the roof and removed the rivets holding the large fan in place. It's crazy.
I mean, what? They really thought this exit out. What did you expect?
Yeah, I mean, he meticulously planned this. It's amazing. Not that I'm saying you should escape from prison by any means, but that's pretty damn clever.
You're so ridiculous.
What?
Not that you should escape from prison.
Like, have you not heard of all those prisoners who are trying to escape, like when they have 3 months left? I even heard of one escaping with 2 weeks left.
I mean, I don't know what to say. People do dumb stuff.
All right. Well, okay. So moving on while you're doing that. The men concealed their absence while working outside their cells and after the escape itself by sculpting dummy heads from a handmade paper mache-like mixture of soap, toothpaste, concrete dust, and toilet paper, and giving them a realistic appearance.
Can you see it?
Yeah. You should have warned me because I was like, ooh.
I think that's like this is for the tours, maybe.
For sure.
But that picture creeps me out.
You should go visit Mama's storage building.
No, you're not funny. Anyways, sorry. Continue the paper mache stuff.
Okay, hold on. I just sneezed and it hurt.
Bless you.
I don't believe you.
I said bless you.
like a 30-second delay. Oh, let your soul escape from your body, and then I'll bless you and suck right back in. Okay, anyways. So, I mean, this is amazing. I should have read this more.
Oh my God.
I'm seriously verbatim from Wikipedia, guys. Seriously. So, I mean, can you believe it, though? They sculpted these dummy heads. The dummy head that she showed you is made of soap, toothpaste, concrete dust, and toilet paper. And they painted them from paint from a maintenance shop and hair from a barbershop floor. And then with towels and clothing piled under the blankets in their bunks and the dummies' heads positioned on pillows, they appeared to be sleeping.
They obviously did a very good job.
He did. I mean, seriously, I'm looking at this guy, this dummy head, and I'm like, that looks pretty good. If you ask me, it looks pretty darn good. I mean, just think if it wasn't however old this dummy head is right now, it probably looked pretty realistic.
I would have a heart attack.
I'm going to keep working on my paper mache abilities.
So you can escape Alcatraz one day?
No, so I'm going to escape my life. Nobody even notice I'm gone.
You need therapy.
I just need a recording that says, "Thank you for calling beep 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 beep. How may I help you?"
So ridiculous. You're going to get fired. Okay. And I think your housemates would notice very quickly.
You're right. You're right.
Who would cook dinner?
Don't know. Okay, so on the night of June 11, 1962, with all the preparations in place, the men initiated their plan. West discovered that the cement he had used.
Wait, when?
Oh, this is June 11, 1962.
62. Okay.
Okay, so this is okay, this is why he can't get out of his cell. So Alan West, discovered that the cement he had used to reinforce crumbling concrete around his vent had hardened, narrowing the opening and fixing the grill in place.
What an idiot.
By the time he managed to remove the grill and re-widen the hole the others had left without him, he returned to his cell and just went to sleep.
I mean, fair.
I mean, yeah, you're not going to catch up
getting
with
off the island without that flotation device, so
yeah.
They already left. You're done.
Yeah, so Morris is pretty meticulous, so I'm pretty sure he's very anal about time. If you're not there, we'll leave him without you, bro.
Yeah, and Alan was like, I'm not going to make it.
And you're starting to call him Adam, too, were you?
I did.
Sorry, Adam West. Sorry. Didn't mean to. It just, you're just so popular.
Oh, yeah. Everybody knows who he is.
They don't, do they?
No one is Googling his name right now.
Well, I already told him who he was. So, and of course, probably the people now may not have seen the OG Batman TV show that Adam West was in.
No, because it was bad.
That bad. It was interesting. It was from the 60s, right?
Yeah, that's why it's bad.
Oh, it's not bad. It's what they did, okay? It's what they had.
I've actually never watched it, so...
Then shut up.
Opinion.
Shut your face. What the F?
I have seen some of the Hulk and Wonder Woman.
No, those were bad.
So
it was pretty equal.
I feel pretty confident in my assessment.
You know what? I don't care what you think. Now you're spoiled with all these CGI shit. Back in the day, we had to use our imaginations. Even though I wasn't in the 60s, I still watched them on rerun.
Back in the 60s, 20 years before I was born.
Hey, you know what? They didn't have HBO until like the 80s.
You sound like Chris because he'd be saying stuff all the time, and I'm like, you're 30.
I don't sound like Chris.
Talking about?
Chris is an infant. Shut up.
Talks like a grandpa. Like back in my day, when 2000, relax.
You're like we had the same day, bro.
I know.
We're pretty. You're only like a pinch older than me.
I know. I remember what happened on 9/11. Me too.
Yeah.
I was in kindergarten.
Oh, I was at work. I remember that. It was the craziest. Oh, that's probably another episode, but that was the craziest thing. I will never forget how silent it was outside. It was silent.
And Chris is like, these kids don't know what a VHS is. Fair, but you're 30.
You know what a VHS is.
Relax. I'm 29. Of course I know what a VHS tape is. My kids don't.
Okay, back to the episode for reals this time. All right, so Alan West went back to sleep because he got delayed because his stuff didn't work. So from the service corridor, Morris and the Anglins climbed into the ventilation shaft to the roof. Guards heard a loud crash as they broke out of the shaft, but nothing further was heard, and the source of the noise was not investigated because they were comfortable in the fact that nobody escapes the rock.
So they heard them escaping.
Mm-hmm. But they were like, oh, it must have been the wind.
Must have been the wind.
Mm-hmm. It is the island in the middle of the ocean.
I don't actually know if I can visit Alcatraz.
Why?
An island, an ocean.
But that's the safest place you could be in case of an earthquake. You'd be fine. I'll go without you. It's cool. I'm fine going. It's not gonna bother me to be on an island in the middle of the ocean. If I die, I'll die quickly. It'll be fine.
Cell service like.
Okay, so the guards heard it, but they didn't investigate it. Hauling their gear with them, they descended 50 feet or 15 meters to the ground by sliding down a kitchen vent pipe. They climbed two 12-foot barbed wire perimeter fences. Good Lord. It's a lot of climbing.
I mean, to freedom, is it really?
Barbed wire. At least I guess it wasn't razor wire. Razor wire is terrible. Well, it looks terrible. Not that I've ever climbed over it.
Is that the one that look like razor blades?
Oh, it's the one with razor blades on it.
Cool. Mm-hmm. And barbed wire is just the spiky one.
Mm-hmm.
I think I'd rather do barbed wire.
Me too.
Once it's stuck in you, and then you can move forward from that.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like razor wire just keeps cutting you up.
Yeah, it just slices. Yeah. You're bleeding by the time you're done with that razor wire. Whereas with barbed wire, you can like throw a blanket over it and be fine. But razor wire is not that easy because it's more flimsy. Whereas barbed wire is kind of stiff.
It's pokey. Barbed wire is pokey, and razor wire is slicey. That's the difference.
Is that the technical terms?
That's the technical terms.
Well, I'm glad we learned something today. Excellent. Okay, so they climbed down to kitchen pipe, climbed the barbed wire. Okay, at the northeast shore line near the power plant. There's a damn power plant.
How do you think they power the island?
Lord, I didn't look that part up. Jesus. Okay. Oh, so the power plant is a blind spot in the prison's network of searchlights and gun towers. Oh, very smart. Okay. They inflated their raft with.
Wait, so there's stairs down to the water in a blind spot?
To the power plant. You have to have stairs to the power plant for it to run. And it may not even have stairs. It may have just been just rocks. I mean, if you look at the picture there that I did not steal from anybody, I generated it. I mean, those rocks are climbable.
Not after I just climbed over razor wire.
Hey, when you are determined, you are determined.
What's my freedom worth? Not all that trouble. That's what I'm telling you.
Well, never go to prison.
I don't plan to do anything to go to prison.
Don't ever say that.
I don't plan to do anything to go to prison.
It doesn't mean you won't. Let somebody hurt your child.
It means I'm not planning to go to prison.
Anyways.
Don't hurt my child. I would hope that the courts would be lenient.
You never know. Not with our court system.
Who are you telling?
Okay, so they inflated the raft with concertina. I don't even know what that is.
Not helium.
Maybe they should have used helium, then they could just float over the water.
No, they probably were still too heavy.
Probably. Okay, stolen from another inmate. Oh, they stole it from another inmate and modified to serve as a bellows. I think I have to see this raft that they did.
Okay, let's see if I can find it.
Okay. At some time after 10 p.m., investigators established that they boarded the raft, launched it, and departed toward the objective Angel Island, 2 miles to the north. Well, that's basically the whole escape.
Okay, I got it. Hold on, I got the raft on Reddit. Let me share it with you. Okay. Can you see it? See it?
Mm-hmm.
There's another one.
I like how they colored the photo.
It wasn't already. They didn't have colored photos in the 60s. I'm pretty sure they did. What if this is another reenactment?
Could be.
Well, there's your raft. That's what you asked for.
Mm-hmm.
That's what you got. Continue.
So the escape was not discovered until the morning of June 12th due to the successful dummy head ruse.
They're the worst prison guards ever.
Well, they're lax. They're like, oh, nobody's getting off the rock. It's fine. Because there were other attempts. There was 2 other attempts, and those people either one got to one, like that little island. I guess I got the Angel Island wrong, but and he was like, come get me. I'm done. And then the other ones died.
None of the attempts were Frank Morris.
Hmm?
I mean, this man is a genius who has previously escaped prison before.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like we could have taken that a little more seriously.
Until they were very confident nobody was getting off the rock.
Worst prison guards ever.
They're like, well, if the water doesn't get them sharks will.
Somebody got fired after this.
Well, I mean, at least it was June, so I would have think the water was not so cold, but
the Pacific Ocean is always cold.
Is it so cold?
It's something about the tides. I don't know. Chris told me once, but I don't remember. I think it's because the Pacific Ocean is pulling water from the north, and the Atlantic Ocean is pulling water from the south. And that's why the temperature differentials. That's also why people have to wear wetsuits when they go surfing in the Pacific Ocean.
I thought this episode was about Alcatraz, not wetsuits.
I'm so sorry that I gave you some information that I had.
Oh my gosh. Okay, anyway, so multiple military and law enforcement agencies conducted an extensive air, sea, and land search over the next 10 days. I bet you they were just waiting for their dead bodies to wash up on the shore.
They're like standing on the beach like, oh, can't see them.
Oh yeah, that's fine. They'll pop up sooner or later. So on June 14th, which is 2 days after the discovery, the Coast Guard cutter picked up paddle floating 200 yards off the southern shore of Angel Island. On the same day and in the same general location, workers on another boat found a wallet wrapped in plastic, complete with names, addresses, and photos of the England's friends and relatives.
Dang. They lost their contact book.
Yeah. On June 21st, shards of the raincoat material believed to be remnants of the raft were found on a beach not far from the Golden Gate Bridge. The following day, a prison boat picked up a deflated life jacket made of the same material 50 yards off Alcatraz Island. According to the FBI report, no other physical evidence was found.
They found part of the raft on the mainland?
Mm-hmm.
And they were like, all these guys just died?
Mm-hmm. Well, and they found the life vest on the island, near the island.
Yeah, they were down a man. They didn't need it.
I guess you could say that. Yeah, they didn't think of that. Doesn't seem like it.
They think about a lot of things, obviously.
So FBI agents surmised early on that the men had drowned. They cited the fact that the individuals' personal effects were the only belongings they had, and the men would have drowned before leaving them behind.
No. I'm sorry. F these pictures. No.
You're like, bye. I'll remember you in my memories.
What do you mean?
Let's see. However, no human remains were found at this time. Okay, so July 17th, a month after the escape, a Norwegian ship, SS Norefjell? It's Norefjell.
Sounds right.
We'll go with it.
I can't say English words, so.
Me either. So this Norwegian ship spotted a body floating in the ocean 15 nautical miles, 28 kilometers, 17 miles from the Golden Gate Bridge. The ship did not retrieve the body and did not report the sighting until October.
Why?
I don't know.
It was one of the Engel brothers.
Maybe. San Francisco County Coroner Henry Turkle cast doubt on speculation that it could have been one of the escapees, emphasizing the improbability that a body would still be floating on the surface of the ocean after more than a month. Instead, Turkle proposed that the corpse may have been that of Cecil Philip Herman, a 34-year-old unemployed baker who had jumped from the Golden Gate Bridge 5 days earlier.
That's what I was going to say. A jumper.
Mm-hmm. Several coroners from neighboring counties challenged Turkle's opinion, saying that it was possible the remains belonged to one of the escapees.
I mean, yeah, because if they got sucked into that part you're talking about where people drown and the body got stuck in there for a little bit, then they would come back up.
Yeah, it would push them to the bottom, and then.
The more you decay, the more you float.
But how quickly do you decay in water?
Oh, I don't know. I know that water screws up a lot of things.
All I
know is that the longer you decay, the better you float, because your gas, like when you start to break down, you start to produce this gas in your chest cavity, and that's very buoyant. But also, fish eat dead bodies.
Not just fish.
What else is in the ocean besides fish?
Octopus.
That's a fish.
Crabs. Oh, it's an octopus.
An octopus is a fish.
No, it's not.
Yes, it is.
Look it up.
I'm going to do an awful lot of research this episode.
Well, these are questions I didn't think to look up. They decompose in the Pacific.
Damn.
What was that?
Cephalopods. Anyways, aquatic creatures eat dead bodies.
Mm-hmm.
I just don't know why they didn't report it.
They're from Norway? I don't know.
That doesn't bother them. This has nothing to do with them. But if you didn't report it for so long, why report it anyways?
It's a good question.
All right, what's left?
Okay, so just looking at this. Okay, so it could take, let's see, it could be 4 days. It varies so much. It says 4 days in highly oxygenated, deeper water. The body can be skeletonized in less than 4 days. But although bones could be covered up to 6 months or more.
Yeah, because aquatic animals eat the body. Duh. But you have to look at the difference between decaying in salt water and decaying in fresh water.
I said the Pacific Ocean. Okay, so FBI investigators announced at their official position that while it was theoretically, I can't say that word today, theoretically possible for the men to have reached Angel Island, the odds of them having survived the turbulent currents and frigid waters of the bay were negligible. According to the final FBI report, West said that they had planned to steal clothes and a car upon reaching land, but no such thefts were reported in the immediate area.
So the FBI in the 60s,
But they look cool.
they were extremely corrupt.
Yeah, you know what? There was one thing I read that it's possible that they robbed a guard.
Oh, yeah. To help with the escape.
Mm-hmm.
Uh-huh. I mean, what other way could you?
Okay, so the aftermath. West was the only conspirator. I cannot talk today. Conspirator not to participate in the actual escape. He fully cooperated with the investigation and therefore not charged with his role because he just went back to his cell and went to sleep.
Good for you, Alan.
Yep. West was transferred to McNeil Island, Washington after Alcatraz was deactivated in 1963 and later back to Atlanta Penitentiary after serving his sentence followed by 2 additional sentences in Georgia and Florida. He was released in 1967, only to be arrested again the following year on charges of grand larceny.
Jesus.
I mean, he was out. He was out. And he had to go back. I don't get it.
Well, the, what is it called when you, the integration programs in the 60s, garbage. As in non-existent. We don't even have good integration programs now. So it's not uncommon for people to spend decades in prison, get out, and then reoffend because they don't know how else to live. They don't have other options. They can't get hired. People don't trust them. They don't know how to live outside of prison anymore. So they just go back.
It's sad, really. Anyways, let's see. Okay. While he was sentenced back to Florida State Prison, he was fatally stabbed after another inmate in October of 72 hold on. So he was in Florida State Penitentiary or prison. He fatally stabbed another inmate in October 72 in what may have been a racist hate crime. He was serving
Alan.
He was serving multiple sentences, including life imprisonment on a murder conviction when he died of acute appendicitis.
Ooh. They just didn't want to save him.
No, that's not appendicitis. It's periodontitis. Anyway, he died. And
dang, he's racist. I regret offending him.
So, kind of as like a comparison, in the they escaped in June of 1962. In December of 1962, it just went downhill. Alcatraz inmate John Paul Scott made water wings from inflated rubber gloves and swam the distance of 2.7 nautical miles, 3 miles, from Alcatraz to Fort Point at the southern end of the Golden Gate Bridge. He was found there by a teenager suffering from hypothermia and exhaustion. After recovering in Letterman Army Hospital, he was immediately returned to Alcatraz.
Dang, he did it.
Yeah, he is the only documented case of Alcatraz inmate reaching the shore by swimming.
Good for him.
And now today, multiple athletes swim the same Alcatraz to Fort Point route as part of a 2 annual triathlon events.
First off, and yet we still think that these other people could not have escaped on a raft. Mm-hmm. Okay. Because they wouldn't have left their pictures behind. So freaking dramatic. But somebody actually did, in fact, swim from the island to the mainland.
Mm-hmm.
And now people do it for funsies.
Mm-hmm.
This is just dumb.
So, just a quick note. The reason for the closure of Alcatraz is it costs more to operate Alcatraz per prisoner than it was any other prison. It costs nearly $10 per prisoner per day as opposed to $3 per prisoner per day in Atlanta.
Oh, you mean because it's a remote island that you have to power and man?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Duh.
Almost escape proof.
Oh, I thought it was because they really tortured the crap out of prisoners there. I thought they got shut down for humane reasons.
Well, that's not what this is saying.
Always the money, though. What was I thinking?
I don't know. But the case against the guys who escaped tentatively was closed in 1979 after 17-year investigation. The official finding was that the prisoners most likely drowned in the cold waters of the bay while attempting to reach Angel Island. They cited the remnants found of the raft as well as the personal effects of the men as evidence that the raft broke up and sank at some point, and the 3 convicts succumbed to hypothermia, with their bodies swept out to sea by rapid currents of the San Francisco Bay.
Okay.
So now they are, if they escaped, they are officially free because they are assumed dead.
A theory, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to share this article that I found, and then I'll tell you what my theory is.
Okay.
So this is from NOLA.com, which I've never heard of before, so I don't know. But the title is 55 Years Later, The Escape from Alcatraz is Still a Mystery, and this was published in 2017. So this is not related, but I thought you should know. The Anglin brothers named their decoy heads Oink and Oscar. I thought that was funny.
That is funny.
Let's see. The trio, you already talked about the escape. The U.S. Marshal Service case is still open as of 2017.
So, in January 1965, the FBI investigator rumored that Clarence Anglin was living in Brazil.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Huh.
So they were dispatched to South America, but found no direct evidence that he was there. A man called the Bureau in 1967, claiming that he had seen Morris, and he was a classmate of Morris's apparently, and to have known him for more than 30 years. He said he had bumped into him in Maryland and described him as having a small beard and mustache, but refused to give any other details.
Okay. So, go ahead.
But there's more.
Yeah, I'm trying to read it.
So family members of the Anglin brothers occasionally received postcards and messages over the years. Most were unsigned, one signed Jerry and another Jerry and Joe. The family also produced a Christmas card reportedly received in the family mailbox in 1962 saying, "To Mother from John, Merry Christmas." Another of the Anglin's 11 siblings, Robert, also said that sometimes the phone would ring and all he could hear was breathing on the other end. Robert said, "I suppose all that could have been pranks, but maybe it was my brothers." Oh, that's so hopeful. Sweet. The mother of the Anglin brothers received flowers anonymously every Mother's Day until her death in 1973. And two very tall, unusual women in heavy makeup are reported to have attended her funeral. That's actually really sweet, if you ask me. Federal officials say that in the mid to late 60s and into the 70s, there were 6 or 7 sightings reported of the Anglin brothers, all in North Florida or Georgia. Robert said in 1989, when the father of the Anglin brothers died, 2 strangers in beard showed up at the funeral home. According to Robert, they stood in front of the casket looking at the body for a few minutes. They wept, then they walked out.
Oh,
So sweet. In 1989, a woman who identified herself as Kathy called Unsolved Mysteries tip line and reported a photo of Clarence Anglin matched the description of a man who lived in a farm near Marion, Florida. After a woman also recognized a photo of Clarence Anglin and said he lived near Mariana, she correctly identified his eye color, height, and other physical features. Another witness claimed to have sketched Frank Morris for a striking resemblance to a man she had seen in the same area.
are you ready?
Go.
Okay. So, excuse me.
Yeah, I'm not reading all that.
A deathbed confession surfaced from a man who said he and an accomplice plucked the escapees from the water in a freshly painted white boat, a claim backed up by an off-duty police officer who spotted a suspicious boat that night. The confession goes on to say that the accomplices betrayed, murdered, and buried the men near Seattle. Okay. John Anglin's sister claims to have received a phone call from him soon after the escape. A cousin of Frank Morris says he met Frank at a San Diego park not long after his escape, a meeting that the cousin's young daughter also remembers. The drug smuggler you were talking about claimed he had run into the brothers in Brazil where they had bought a farm. He says that they escaped by attaching a cable to a passenger ferry that night, and they body surfed to freedom. In 1992, the smuggler, his name is Fred Breezy, provided the Anglin family with a photo he took in 1975 that basically showed the Anglin brothers on their Brazilian farm. They received cards. You already said that. For nearly 3 decades, the Rock hosted such infamous inmates as Al Capone, Machine Gun Kelly, and Whitey Bulger. There were 14 breakout attempts and a total of 3 dozen inmates. The attempt by Morris and the Anglins is the only one that may have succeeded during that time. Obviously, there was that other guy.
Or he didn't succeed, though.
That's all I got. So
I think that's all I got. So
there's a picture of them in Brazil. I thought it was Frank Morris's deathbed confession, but I guess it was not. I thought maybe.
I wonder if they could do if they could do
Genealogy.
Yeah. Like if they'd have to have DNA from Frank Morris or something to see if they could
I'm pretty freaking positive that these men escaped, okay?
Okay, I believe you.
And I'm pretty freaking positive that the authorities just covered it up so that they could continue to say that Alcatraz was inescapable.
Well, I guess. They could have.
Alcatraz obviously wasn't as secure as they sold it to be.
I mean, it was pretty damn secure. If only 3 people. 3.5. 3.5. He halfway escaped. He got to the shore, but then he was so weak.
He got off the island.
He did. So.
And 5, because another guy got off the island and went to Angel Island. That's 5 people who successfully got off of the Rock.
When did I say it started being was it 1935?
Yeah.
So from 1935 until 1963,
5 people.
5 people successfully got off the island. I mean, that's a pretty good record.
Yeah, but it's not. That's like saying that a freaking castle is impenetrable. Oh, but 5 people have gotten in.
Have you not seen Helm's Deep?
No.
It wasn't a real castle. It was on Lord of the Rings. And it did get penetrated because it got blew up and whatever.
I never watched Lord of the Rings. I was actually thinking about Game of Thrones in the place that Catelyn's crazy sister lives. The Ari. The Vale.
I was about to say she lives in the Vale.
Her son's name is something that starts with an A. Anyway.
I think it's supposed to be Harry, but it's Ari or something. That was years ago.
That's what I was thinking about, was the Vale. Because they're it's impenetrable. It's impregnable.
Well, they had a moon door. That moon door's terrifying.
Yeah, but I feel like you could still take that castle if you tried.
You pretty much can take any castle if you find the right method.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
That's why I have a hard time with places that are so absolute in their We can't.
Never say never. But you have to admit, it was pretty hard to actually get out of there just because of those elements of being a rock, being in the middle of a bay, it being frigid waters constantly, tides.
Yeah, improbable, but not impossible.
I didn't say any different.
And that's how they should have sold it. It's improbable.
They also used to say that cigarettes would cure you of everything, and yet it gives you cancer and kills you.
It doesn't give you cancer. It contributes to factors that give you cancer.
Okay, well, that's all we had. Okay, anyways, like and subscribe, leave a comment that tells how stupid we are.
Until next time.
Bye.
Bye.